As a writer, has written many of the sitcoms that we all know and love. As a comedian, he's performed in concerts and venues across the country, including Las Vegas and the Lincoln Center. Tonight, he's here to perform for you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the observation comedy of Mr. Don Sherman.
14 more meals and it's all over. You ready? It's amazing. 2 weeks ago, I had no idea I'd be on this beautiful ship. I was back home in Los Angeles with my accountant. We were going over last year's taxes. The government turned down all my charitable deductions. I don't understand why. I sent my annual check out to the O.J. Simpson Find the Real Killer Fund. I sent one check out to the Jerry Springer Family Rehabilitation Center. I sent one check out to the Mike Tyson School of Gourmet Cannibalism. I sent one check out to the Winona Ryder Celebrity Shopping Tour. I sent one check out to the Tanya Harding School of Charm and Grace. I sent one check out to the Martha Stewart Celebrity Investment Society. And I sent my final check out to the Monica Lewinsky Intern Training Foundation. Turned me down, and then I get a telephone call from Celebrity Cruise Line. Collect. How would you like to go on a cruise? Celebrity Cruise Line, they've been around a long time. When they started out, Gavin McLeod was being toilet trained. Michael Jackson was black. O.J. Simpson was white. And I know Celebrity Cruise Line, they have cruises that go to the Mediterranean, the South Pacific, and the Far East. I said, where does my cruise go? He said, Mexico. I said, people cruise to Mexico? What kind of people cruise to Mexico? I could not understand it, paying thousands of dollars to get into a place that people risk their lives trying to get out of. I figured this has to be American boat people or Haitians with a bad sense of direction. But he said it doesn't matter where you go, Don. You're going on a beautiful ship. You're going on the Mercury, which is the 4th largest ship in the world. The other 3 are stuck in the Panama Canal. We are on the Mercury, which is the sister ship to the Galaxy and the Infinity, and also the illegitimate cousin of the Exxon Valdez. Have no fear. You cannot get in trouble with a Greek captain. Our captain comes on the loudspeaker. The sun will rise at 5:15. The man is in charge of the sun. You know that every officer here is trained 8 years in the Maritime Academy in Athens, and then 4 more years of officers training in Piraeus, and 2 years in the Arthur Murray Dance Studio. But I must admit, I am impressed with this vessel, and you know what impresses me the most? Punctuality. Ping pong tournaments end while the ball is in mid-flight. Because we're with the Greeks, and the Greeks are perfectionists. We had a Jewish captain. This would be a different cruise. Jewish captain says, tomorrow we'll be there 8:30. 8:45. Maybe we won't go all together. Who knows? Not the Greeks. They say it. They mean it. They said they'd bring us to Cabo San Lucas, and they brought us to Cabo San Lucas. Why they brought us to Cabo San Lucas? That's the first port I've been to where the town hasn't arrived yet. I mean, I've heard of sleepy ports, but Cabo San Lucas is in a coma. And do you know you cannot leave Cabo San Lucas by car or by train. If you could, the place would have been empty years ago. And I understand some people took a tour of the highlights of Cabo San Lucas. Tour went from 11 to 11:15, and that was with lunch and the nap. We could not even dock in Cabo San Lucas. We had to drop anchor in the harbor there expecting a cocaine shipment from Panama. We had to go by tender, which is like a rehearsal for the Titanic. You had to have your tender ticket, your tour ticket, your identification ticket. These people love tickets. They make nothing on the cruise. They make it printing tickets. I was so excited that morning. I waited on the tender deck while hundreds and hundreds of people came off the tender. I thought they were reproducing on the tender. I finally got my chance. I got on the tender. I didn't get sick once on this ship. I threw up 3 times on the tender. And the tender brought me right to the heart of downtown Cabo San Lucas, where they had a flea market set up, looked like Charo's garage sale. I had one foot in one guy's business and one foot in another guy's business. And I didn't want to buy anything, but I ended up buying. I bought whips and masks and knives. I left home a tourist, I'm coming home a terrorist. And then we left Cabo San Lucas, which is the best thing you can do with Cabo San Lucas. Now don't get me wrong, Cabo San Lucas is the place where the people from Puerto Vallarta go for nightlife. And did you notice when we left Cabo San Lucas, the captain revved up the engine and we sped through the night to get to Mazatlan on time. And after 5 minutes of Mazatlan, I said, what was the rush? I was ready to go back to Cabo San Lucas. But I wanted to see Mazatlan, so I go out in the terminal, all I see are buses, 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 buses. All those buses, and they have no place to go. Now I know why I can't get a bus in New York. They're all in Cabo San Lucas. I got on one of the buses, the man took me to the Golden Zone, he took me to the El Cid Hotel, he took me to a beautiful church that was packed with passengers all praying they'd never have to come back to Mazatlan again. And then they brought us to Acapulco, which is Mazatlan spelled backwards. Acapulco, that's like a Kmart, that's out of control. It's the only place in the world you run into a shopping center that follows you wherever you go. You say one word to anybody in Acapulco, you have a relationship for eternity. There was one lady followed me all around the day trying to sell me a blanket. It's 140 degrees. She's selling me blankets. But I wanted to see Acapulco because it was originally a haven for pirates, and they're still there. But now they're driving taxi cabs. I'm walking along the street minding my own business. A guy jumps out of the bushes. He's got combat boots with no laces, Speedo shorts, a ripped T-shirt, a Donald Duck hat. And he looks at me and says, "Senor, what can I do for you?" I said, "Look what you did to yourself." He said, no, you don't understand, senor. I'm a taxi driver. I know Acapulco. Come in my car. It's okay, take me to your car. It was not a car. It was 4 doors held together by hangers. I mean it. The car had no floor. I had the only glass-bottom cab in Acapulco. And the man drove like he was fleeing immigration. Blew his horn after he hit the people. Took me up into the mountains where there's no roads. You bounce from rock to rock. I know people come to Mexico to get stoned, but not with real stones. Then he took me to downtown Acapulco. He took me some winding, narrow streets. We went up one street that was so narrow, I saw a woman get out of both sides of a taxi cab at the same time. And every time, place he took me in Acapulco, I saw a plaza and a statue, and a plaza and a statue. It's a great place to live if you're a pigeon. Then he took me to the beach, and the beach is beautiful. right? And at the beach, I see passengers from this ship, and they're up in parachutes. The same people had a seasick patch behind their ear. Then they're up in a parachute with a whacked-out native driving around the harbor. Cost $100 to go up, $200 if you want to come down, senor. Actually, parasailing was originally invented in Puerto Vallarta in the 60s to help Elizabeth Taylor get out of the bathtub. I like that joke. Then they brought us to Zihuatanejo. And did you notice we anchored even further out in Zihuatanejo than in Cabo San Lucas, like even the ship didn't want to go to Zihuatanejo. But I did the best thing in Zihuatanejo. I took a boat tour. Now the boat tour meant I had to get off this boat. I had to get on a little boat and go to shore. I had to walk 20 feet and get on another boat, which took me right out, around, and right past this boat again. They took me on a tour of this boat. Even the fish looked bored with Zihuatanejo. I finally asked the cab driver, please, senor, por favor, where is the best place for me to go in Zihuatanejo? He told me to get back on the ship. So I did. Here's the Zihuatanejo, Acapulco, Mazatlan, and Cabo San Lucas. We were there. Oh, I loved it. I'll tell you, when I left L.A., I didn't know what to expect. I had a patch behind my ear, I had crackers in one pocket, I had pills in another pocket. I threw up twice driving to the airport. Flew me to San Diego where they searched me for weapons. Found I didn't have any, so they gave me one. Said, you're gonna need this in Acapulco. Threw me on a bus. The bus brings me to the port, and there I see it, the Mercury, and it looked so beautiful. And I said, this is going to be great. And then I realized I was on one bus, but my bags were on another bus. But this is Celebrity Cruise Line. They have a motto. When the bags arrive at the airport, they go right to the cabin. Whose cabin? Nobody knows. But who cares? Mexican Riviera cruise ship. I started to walk up steps and down steps and through steps and I walked up one flight of steps that went nowhere. There is no reason for those steps. The steps are just there to make a fool of you, make you feel stupid, mixed up. I was so mixed up that first day. I was walking down steps. Didn't I just walk up these? I was walking up steps. Didn't I just walk down these steps? I moved to the left. The ship moved to the right. I moved to the right. The ship moved to the left. I figured I'll stand in one place. My cabin will come to me. I went up to the resort deck where they have that beautiful pool and the 4 tubs of cooking people. Then I went to the penthouse deck. I saw the presidential suite. It's gigantic. You have to take a tender to the toilet. Then I went to the Vista deck where every cabin has their own balcony. So at the end of the cruise, you can't pay the bill. You jump overboard. Then I went to Plaza deck, entertainment deck. It's too many decks. They're too confusing. I'll give you an example. I made a left turn, right? I changed my mind. I turned back. A wall grew that wasn't there before. Then I saw people so confused, they're dropping breadcrumbs down the hallway. And wherever I went, I saw that same sign, you are here, and I was not there. I mean, how do they know where I am? I could be anywhere. And every time I thought I knew where the dining room was, they'd move it to another part of the ship. Then they cut it in half up there, half down there. I walked and I walked and I walked. I ran into people from old cruises yet. I found 2 survivors from the Titanic under the ice machine. But I was by myself, you know. And I found out an amazing thing, that when you're by yourself, you do not admit you're lost. You don't. You walk straight ahead like you know what you're doing. That is everybody but the married people. Because by now, they were at war. We always do what you want to do. We always go where you want to go. Walk down 3 flights, we'll find our cabin. We found the crew toilet, that's what we found. People married 40 years, 40 years, lost 10 minutes on the Mercury staring at each other with hatred and vengeance in their eyes. I never liked you. Well, I walked and I walked and I walked and I walked. Finally, dear God, on Plaza Deck, I find my cabin. I got so excited. I took out that card. I hate this card. I'm always looking for this card. I can never find this card. I put it in this pocket, I find it in this pocket. I put it in this pocket, I find it in this pocket. Everything on my body now feels like this card. I'm falling in love with myself looking for this card. I think it's over here. I took this card, put it in the notch, pushed the handle down, opened the door, and there was my cabin, a dream fulfilled. I said, wait a minute, that can't be my cabin. I have a freezer home bigger than that cabin. It's such a short walk to the wall, boom, zap.